I want to do this exercise. I think I might know how you feel about this. I don't really know. We talked about this briefly before. I want to play this clip, and then I want you to respond and see where we are, what the lay of the land is amongst the two of us here, okay? So here's Mason Rudolph talking about what he knows going into this week.
Sully's been meeting with him on Zoom, and they do their quarterback meetings. So, I get updates. I really haven't had updates other than anything that you guys don't have. I guess it's the deal is he's got to have 2 negative tests.
So you don't know anything either?
No, I don't. I wish I could tell you. I'm moving along at this same pace you guys are. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, I only worry about meeting time, prep, and practice.
What's a big part of that for you?
The big part of that is that here we are, how many years later, and Ben is still somehow threatened by Mason Rudolph to the point that he's not even talking to him this week. And look, I get it, and I agree. What's Ben going to do? Tell Mason, well, listen, on 3rd and 6, be sure to check this guy on a hot route if you see the line. Look, he can't walk him through what's going to happen on Sunday. But at the very least, he could say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm really not feeling good. I don't know. I'd love to be out there on Sunday, but hey, you got this, right? If a 5-minute even a text, it's odd to me. And again, they don't have to be best buddies. No, nothing says they do. Montana and Young weren't best buddies, but it managed to work out there years ago. All he has to do is just a modicum of some level of professional relationship. But clearly, it's just not there. And look, we've known that Ben's kind of resented Mason Rudolph's presence since he was drafted. It's astounding to me, though, that given the way Rudolph has performed, especially most recently against Detroit, right, that Ben is still threatened by him.
We don't do this show to validate each other at all. I was just seeing where you were with it. I don't think Ben was ever threatened is too strong for me, bothered by another quarterback's presence, and maybe Ben is still mad that they didn't use a 3rd-round pick on an offensive weapon, and that's really whenever they picked Dobbs the year before. But nonetheless, when I hear that, look, I don't think Mason Rudolph's good, okay? But that said, this situation independently, Mason Rudolph's participation is solely based on Ben Roethlisberger's availability. Mm-hmm. And thus, Ben owes it to him to keep him apprised of the situation, even if it's just a 1-word text. And to say, I only know as much as you guys know, it sits odd with me. This gets back to the whole situation of watching other NFL games. When the defense is on the field, watch where Ben is. He's by himself or he's talking to Dobbs. He's never with Rudolph, his backup. You watch other teams in timeouts and when the defense is on the field, the starter is incessantly consulting with the backup.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't like the fact that Jordan Love was drafted. But when you scan over on the Green Bay sidelines, right, those two are talking in between
they're together.
Series. Yeah.
Again, it's just odd to me. I don't think he's threatened by him as a player. I think he's resentful that they didn't take another offensive weapon or they didn't take a player that was plug and play and that they had taken Dobbs just the year before. But that being said, I don't know why it's not incumbent upon Mason Rudolph. It's incumbent upon Mason Rudolph, and I think he stinks, but it's incumbent upon Mason Rudolph to maybe call and check in how Ben's health is, but it's incumbent upon Ben to let him know his status. And the fact that Mason Rudolph...
if you're Mason Rudolph and you've seen for the last 4 years, that Ben Roethlisberger wants nothing to do with you. Are you all that inclined to check in on him right now?
Not really. At some point you say, screw off, you've treated me poorly, why do I need to go ahead?
Right.
But you'd like to find out where you are. I guess you should prepare to be the starter no matter what. But it would be nice to know more than the media knew. And the one guy that knows that is Ben Roethlisberger.
And to not have to go through the go-between of the quarterback's coach. Did you notice that? When Rudolph started that statement, it was, well, yeah, he has his weekly, he has his daily Zoom meetings with Sully. And then, so hold on. Are you guys not even, you're not even conversing with each other? Is it? That part to me is just odd. Again, maybe you may be onto something that he's not threatened by him anymore, but the fact that he was once threatened by the idea of any quarterback coming in much less Rudolph.
I think for me it was always bothered. It was never threatened.
See, I think Ben was at a point in his career where he was somewhat threatened by the idea of a young quarterback coming in, especially when they talk him up like they've got a first-round grade on him, because he still felt like he was at his peak, right? And maybe now he's mellowed a little bit more in the last 3 or 4 years, and he's not necessarily threatened, but there's no relationship there to work from.
And here's the deal. Like, Mason Rudolph didn't have to impart what he knew. A serviceable answer could have even been, yeah, Ben told me where he is health-wise. I can't tell you guys. That's
right.
Between us. But I got a pretty good idea where we're tracking toward. There's just been no communication. To say it shows your inner office communication is freaking terrible whenever you have somebody go to the media and then they laugh about it. I know as much as you guys.
Yeah.
Chris, you know I have jury duty, or I'm scheduled to maybe have it next Wednesday.
Week, yeah.
I told you that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know stuff you have going on with vacation days. You don't say, hey, as you're walking out the door the day before, by the way, show's all on you tomorrow because I'm out of here.
Hey, I'm going to the beach next week. See ya.
Right.
Yeah,
and now, Jim, different story.
Well, Jim's
but
on
he is
another
what
level.
he is. But honestly, we owe that to each other.
Yeah. It's astounding to me that there isn't even, like I said, a modicum of professional relationship. They don't have to be sending each other goofy
13-year-old
emails.
teenage drama.
It really is. And it's all born out of, regardless of how Ben feels about Mason Rudolph now, it's all born out of how he handled Rudolph being drafted in the first place, which was extremely poorly.
I agree with you there. No, what was supposed to be said the night that Mason Rudolph was drafted, the wrong thing was said by Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben said that?
Yes, he did. And he's never been happy with Rudolph being there.
He just hasn't.